Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between BIGFaH and Krakpot here on Ice and Chrome, the latter edition. Bottom left-hand corner, red Terran player BIGFaH, and in the top right it is the blue Terran player Krakpot. This was sent to Snipermonkey at the email address in the description if you want your gold, platinum, or diamond level game cast by Falcon Paladin for mid-rank madness. Go ahead and send it to Snipermonkey. Ensure that it is interesting in some way. I guarantee he will watch it, and then send me the very best ones as long with recommendations for casting. And I appreciate that, Snipermonkey, very much. And let's go ahead and get right into it here. So, no proxies to start off. Just barracks at the top of your ramp. And gas here from Krakpot. Let's see. You know, Hearthstone's Rank Roulette. He just has a special guest on for each one of those episodes, and it shows them a replay, and they have to guess, like, what league it's in. And it's really funny and really interesting. Maybe we can do a little bit of that here as well. Although, I don't know if we actually have the answer. Maybe the person who sent in the replay can tell us in the comments when it posts. Anyway, 2 racks opening here from BIGFaH. Interesting. Krakpot is going to do a 1 racks expand. His timing's a little bit late. He's got 500 minerals, which just means he's not fully saturated here yet. He kind of slacked on the SCV building just a little bit here. BIGFaH going 2 gas and double racks. What is this? Usually if you're going 2 gas, you're getting a factory before your second racks, and you're probably going things like siege tanks or cyclones, or maybe going up to battle cruiser or getting a starport really quickly. But for now, I really feel like BIGFaH is going to just be floating a ton of gas here, which seems like a bit of a problem. Yeah, see, there's your factory from Krakpot. I think just based on this opening build, that Krakpot has the best chance of winning this game out of the 2 players. Seems to be a little bit more highly rated, but again, a little bit late on the SCVs. Only at 19 workers to 22 for BIGFaH. And part of that is that BIGFaH has not expanded yet, but I think that'll be okay. Another barracks. Wow. So BIGFaH going for a 3 racks opening. It's going to be Marines and it's going to be Marauders without any medevac support because we are so far away from medevacs. We don't have a factory yet. We don't have a starport yet. Finally getting a factory here is BIGFaH, but it's going to be, I guess the timing could work out for him. Engineering Bay from Krakpot. Oh. Do it. Make a planetary fortress in your natural. Come on. I love early planetaries. Traditionally, the professionals will not make a planetary until their 4th base. Their first 3 are orbitals just for the extra income provided by mules. But I don't know. At this level, I'm not sure it matters as much, like that extra income, you know? Reaper shows up. This Reaper's name is BIGFaH. A few months ago, I went to Jupiter 32, and I saw the transforming tech of the Viking. Today I'm going to be flying myself with a jetpack in the Reaper program. This backpack can deliver 60,000 newtons of force, propelling me into battle. What? What do you mean attack the enemy? I thought this was just a tech demonstration. Reference Tom Scott, the YouTuber. I like Tom Scott quite a bit. Oh, Tom Scott, run! Run, Tom! Oh my gosh, he's alive. He killed a Marine, and he's alive, and he's escaping back home. Alright, siege tank up in siege mode. That should protect everything in here from a Reaper very easily. BIGFaH not expanding. Instead is building a wall of supply depots. Very interesting choice here from BIGFaH. BIGFaH, I would recommend you maybe not do this. This is going to give you a ton of supply. You'll not be supply blocked, but you're going to be so behind on tech and workers and bases compared to your opponent, it's not going to go well for you. Yeah, if you want to wall off, by all means do so, but use your buildings for it. Use your barracks, maybe a factory. Although traditionally, you don't really want to wall off against Terran anyway, because Terran's going to show up with Marines and Marauders and siege tanks, or Banshees or Liberators. You'll notice none of these things really have a problem with walls. The only thing that's going to have trouble getting through a wall is a Hellion. Everything else is going to sit back here and fire on it and break through in pretty much no time. I do like the expansion from BIGFaH, though, but he has fallen behind in worker count, obviously, because it's been 2 base for Krakpot for some time. He's got those mules going. He's at 29 workers. 30 workers to 22 now in favor of the blue Terran player, and he's meching it, man. That is 2 siege tank, or 2 factories, rather, and a 3rd CC at 4.5 minutes. Krakpot is macroing hard here. This does feel very mid-rank madness. I'm going to say platinum is what this feels like. BIGFaH is spending his money really well, but a pure Marine army is not going to do super great against an opposing Terran force, really no matter what they're doing. Also, the gas has been used for concussive shell and combat shield, but there are no marauders in the army, which is a bit of a problem. Not that it's too late to make them, but still, if you're going to go concussive shell, make some marauders so they can take advantage of that. Ah, Krakpot actually going for the wall off too. Maybe he's worried about a Hellion to run by. Interesting, both these players are doing this. I don't necessarily approve of it, but you know, as long as you're making supply depots, I'm not going to complain too much about it at this level. Like, it's more important that you have supply and you're able to not get supply blocked than it is that maybe you're making too much supply. I mean, eventually you want to get to the point where you're just making a supply depot at a certain interval and SCVs at certain intervals, and they just kind of mesh. And you never have too much available supply, but you're also never supply blocked. That's what we're aiming for. Krakpot landing his third base at 6 minutes, man. I love that. He's just got the better economy. He's got tanks. He's got Hellions. He is meching it here. So it's a lot of Hellions and siege tanks. And, you know, at some point, I kind of feel like all you really need here are siege tanks. This is just a Marine army. And yes, Marines trade pretty well against 1 or 2 tanks. But if you have like 10 of them sitting back here, you're getting through this wall and you're winning the game. The resources spent on the Hellions. I understand there's a certain level of mineral dump here, but just continually pumping out tanks on several factories would be pretty hot. Here from Krakpot here. Double armory for double the upgrades. He's got the engineering bay, which I get for turret. Okay, so he's got turrets up. He's worried about, I guess, harassing Banshees. They're not going to be very good versus Liberators unless your opponent just brings a Liberator into your home and sets up in range of a missile turret, which would, I'm sure that happens every once in a while, but you can't necessarily count on it. Yeah, additional factories here, continuing the tank production. BIGFaH spending his money, man. I was like, he got that early gas, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to spend it. He is. It's all been upgrades, man. It's been stim, combat, shield, concussive shell. He's got a couple tanks out. The medevacs are eating up a lot of that gas, too. I kind of like what BIGFaH is up to. So army supply 34 to 29. At this stage, SCV count is trying to scout around for like a 4th base, maybe, that Krakpot may have tried to get. But nah, just the 3 bases, which is just nice timing, honestly. I don't think that's greedy. I don't think that's late. I think Krakpot's doing fine with this 3rd base timing against what his opponent is up to. Continuing, just producing stuff. Krakpot is floating a little bit more money than BIGFaH is. Oh, you know what? BIGFaH's up to 1,000 minerals. Krakpot's at 400 in the bank right now, but again, adding on additional buildings to spend the money better. And making another command center. Dude, Krakpot, his expansion timings are pretty sick. They are really good. Okay, fantastic. So do that. The Hellions, I guess if they change into Hellbats, they're going to be pretty useful here. But otherwise, I don't know what virtue or what value they have. Against Zerg, great. Honestly. Against Protoss, pretty good. Against things like Marines, sometimes. Against things like Marines. Zealots. Against Zealots, right? Pretty great. But when it comes to TVT, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this mech composition we're looking at from Krakpot here. I don't quite see it. But that's fine. Alright, so BIGFaH got his Marines, got his medevacs. A big drop would do a ton of damage to Krakpot here. He really has nothing in the main to cover this backside. A drop up this way, maybe dropping some units on top of this tank. Oh, the coverage is fairly decent here. Maybe just bypassing that and going into the back side of the base of the main and seeing what damage you can get done would be a good thing to do. 3rd CC on the way from BIGFaH. Thor production, I don't know. Thors are good units. I think they're in a pretty good spot right now. If you're going to walk into like 10 siege tanks, though, maybe don't do that. And here's your drop. So BIGFaH does have the plan. He's going to go ahead and swing up top, fly across the backside, unload inside the main base, and see what you can get done here. Because really, just this one siege tank is kind of covering the bottom half of the base and some of the low ground over here, but really nothing at all up here inside the main base itself. Hellions trying to just harass SCVs that are transferring over to the third base. When they could just maybe, well, I guess they can't because that siege tank is here. I was going to say, siege tanks are kind of covering this area, but the Hellions have found a little happy place where they're outside this circle, and they're outside that circle. And yeah, the Marines, see, just, they're good. They're good against Hellions in general. This drop needs to go. I mean, if you watch professional StarCraft, nobody will ever leave 3 medevacs sitting up here full of units for this long for no reason. You need to get those guys moving, and here we go. There's word about the Hellions a little bit. Had to clean those up first, and then decided to drop on in, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So, shaboot, 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 and that is going to be a dead starport at the very least. That's a pretty good pickup. But at the same time, we're actually going to leave it alone. We're going after SCVs. Krakpot is not running his SCVs. This damage is terrible all of a sudden. Dude, Krakpot was at like 70 SCVs. Oh, he's going to get his upgrades canceled too. Look at him not even finishing off buildings. He's just letting them burn. Never mind. He did finish that one off. Double armory down. This drop is doing work. I think you can kill this Thor, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that many Marines can kill that Thor. Although, this is a problem. Run! Okay. No single target set up there. You do want these Thors to be in single target damage mode against things like medevacs, against things like battle cruisers or banshees, where they're doing single target damage that hits hard rather than splash damage that doesn't do as much here. So you can notice the medevacs are alive, whereas I think they would be dead if the Thors were using that single target damage mode. BIGFaH making a 4th CC, although Krakpot already has his 4th base up. He just lost 21 SCVs, and he's still up 56 to 44. Like, Krakpot's macro today has been nuts. He's constantly making SCVs. I say that as his production tab is currently empty. He's been put out of sorts by that attack, I believe, and he's really focusing on making sure it doesn't happen again. And as a result, his money's floating. In fairness, he is supply blocked. In fairness, he's at 196 supply at 12 minutes. This mech build is kind of awesome from Krakpot, man. If he was going against a Zerg player, I think he would just win with this. However, he is going against a Terran player, and as such, things are a little bit different for mech. And I don't know that the Mass Thor is super viable here. Siege tanks, they outrange Thors immensely. They do bonus damage versus Thors, which is not great for them. And, boy, I don't know. I mean, the good news is BIGFaH has exactly 4 siege tanks. So, not as big a deal. I guess Marauders do excellent versus Thors, too. That bonus versus armored coming into play and being super useful. But yeah, BIGFaH got a 4th base down. That's not bad. Widow mines just randomly set up in places. I do like that a lot. You have any Ravens or scans available? Are you going to sit on top of these Widow mines? Scan it. Scan it. Ooh, there's single target mode. All right, so Krakpot is at the single target mode method of attack here, which is great. Unless you're playing against, like, Mutalisks, that's what you want to do. Now, Firebats in front, maybe? Yeah, positioning here is not great for Krakpot. He's kind of bringing in... Oh, he helped kill his own command center there. That's not great at all, but look at these Marauders. There you go. Hellbat's coming around, at least tanking damage. And BIGFaH ends up losing his 3rd base. Brutal stuff. Army supply 140 to 92. If he scouts down here and sees... Oh, he's not doing it. He's like, 3rd base done? That's all I need, baby. Yeah, replanting the 3rd. The 4th base is still under construction. Krakpot pulling back here. What did you think? Like, do you think BIGFaH was going to show up with a giant army and murder you? You were there for some time. This tank stuff is hilarious. Okay, good job using the mobility here. Kiting a bit here is BIGFaH. I'm not going to complain about, which leaves the Hellbats pretty exposed to direct fire while the Thors aren't doing much. That said, this base is dead again. If Krakpot comes down here and kills this, I think it's game over. I really do. Krakpot is not reproducing his losses, though. He is down to 159 supply, finally making a couple more Thors and some Hellbats, or rather Hellions in specific, to replace the losses that he has suffered here. But again, this base dead would be massive. it would leave BIGFaH with one mining base that is severely, rapidly mining out very quickly. What an interesting game this is. This is, MidRank Madness is always pretty interesting, I gotta say. I just, it's fun. I wish it got more views. I really do. MidRank Madness is like the least watched thing on the channel, but I get it. Some people, you know, it seems like these days if people want to watch lower level stuff, they want people making fun of it. Like there are a lot of more successful lower level games that are being casted with people who are just mocking the players the whole time. Which, I don't know. It's not really in my nature to do that. I really don't want to be that kind of a caster, but it seems like that's what the people want. So, whatever. You can go to your places to see that, and Falcon will keep doing what he's doing, which is trying to be educational and entertaining in a way that does respect the player. Because, look, MidRank Madness is where most of us live. The biggest leagues in all of StarCraft are Diamond and Platinum. And, it's just, I don't see a reason to denigrate that population of the StarCraft community. But apparently that's not a problem for a lot of people, because, for example, the NA ladder is widely ridiculed by other channels, too. Anyway, the point is, we're watching StarCraft here, and it's great, and I love it, no matter what StarCraft it is. I like this Liberator from Krakpot. This one, too. Kind of zoning out BIGFaH's ability to respond easily to this. He's like, you didn't rebuild your third base. I win. Dude, scout. Krakpot's reluctance to scout at all today is really killing him. Just send a Hellion down here. Use a scan. You have a ton of energy on this orbital command right here. Scan this. Scan this. That'd be good too to scan. I think Krakpot has this one, but he's insistent on attacking directly into BIGFaH. Oh, is he move commanding here? Oh my gosh, I think he move commanded. What a blunder. No, Krakpot. No, he just lost 80 supply of army in about 5 seconds. He's lost 11 Thors thus far. BIGFaH's like, well, that's my cue. He just move commanded his Thor army into my army and everything died. So we're going to stim across the map as fast as we can with our 2-2 Marines and Marauders. 3-3 pending. And just win. Like, get up the ramp and attack, though. There's guys in the back that aren't doing anything. Yeah. Little stutter step, move up the ramp action. This is why you don't make Thors versus Terran. Marauders trade so well. Tanks trade so well. There are so many good answers to Thors. Like a couple Thors, sure. If your opponent's going like Liberators or Battle Cruisers, Thors can be great. All right, can you out-repair the 2-2 stim damage of Marines and Marauders? No, you can't. Krakpot loses another gajillion SCVs. Season for 37 lost. It's 52 to 44 workers. Krakpot still has more workers than BIGFaH does. Like, he's been just pumping SCVs this whole game. He's lost so many, and he still has more than his opponent, which is very strange. Also, BIGFaH could probably stand to expand here. He's sitting on 3,000 minerals. Like, if you're ever sitting on 3,000 minerals, expand twice, maybe 3 times. Build some more barracks, right? Build some more starports, something cool. And BIGFaH decides it's time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get in there. Look how fast these Thors die to this. Ugh. Bruh. Bruh. Marauders just pouring damage in. That tank position is awesome from Krakpot. I love this tank position here. Probably should set up something similar over here for BIGFaH. Alright, so you killed a ton of army. The problem is Krakpot is sitting on 10,000 minerals and 2,000 gas. He can remax fairly well. He recognizes he doesn't have a lot of factories for a remax, so he's making 3 more facts. And that should help him out quite a bit. But BIGFaH not replacing the 3rd base, a problem. The fact that he has a 4th and a 5th base, very nice. So we are kind of all over the place here today. I don't know what that SCV was trying to do. Krakpot, it doesn't seem like Krakpot should be freeing up supply by killing workers at this point. What is this? Is he just trying to scout with SCVs? He's trying to scout with this one, that's for sure. Oh, siege tanks up. How does he out-vision that? I'm very confused about how that tank had vision, but the other one did not. Dude, he's so worried about this. Siege tank has 14 kills, guys. He's like, if the Thors want to come out, we'll dance, but we're not going in there. Thank you for asking, though. Yeah, I mean, these siege tanks are worth their weight in gold. Some Liberators do show up. How many Marines do you have? It would seem like enough would be my guess. Yeah, Liberator down, tank down. This tank, 22 kills. BIGFaH's so afraid of this tank. There we go. We finally got in range to hit it with Marauders, and he pulled back. 28 kill siege tank. The savior of Krakpot today. He would be dead. There would be an army on top of his stuff right now, except for this 28 kill siege tank that BIGFaH is struggling a bit with. But he's done the right thing so far. I really like what we're seeing here out of him. Marines, Marauders. He's producing, for some reason, making his own Thors. But Marauders and Marines are going to be very, very good. Now, the problem is scouting. Again, right? Like, we're looking at Krakpot. He has a base here BIGFaH doesn't know about. He has a base here BIGFaH doesn't know about. He doesn't have this base anymore because BIGFaH definitely killed that one. But again, both players have struggled a bit by believing their opponent contained when they were not. When they believed they had them stuck on two bases when in fact that is not the case, or was not the case. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Yeah, I think BIGFaH, despite the fact that he doesn't have intel on this or this, it looks okay. I mean, the Marauders have just been tearing through all of these Thors. Krakpot's building 6 Thors at a time, man. It's just not enough. I mean, he only has 1 armor. Having 3 armor would be good, but still not enough to save them from the 3/3 Marauders with Stim. Their attacks hit so hard and just so fast when they have Stim, and the Medivacs are healing them the whole time. And it's 133 to 89 supply, and BIGFaH is just in a big way here, and Krakpot insists on move commanding Thors. That is just, it's disastrous for him. I don't know what's going on. It seems like he's a pretty capable player, but he keeps move commanding mech units into a pretty terrifying Terran army and having a bad time of it. Yeah, I mean, Krakpot... See, here's the thing. Krakpot can have those bases. He does have some production out here, too. But if he loses this and all of this, it's going to be really hard to rebuild. Very annoying to rebuild. BIGFaH decided I got 3,000 minerals. Let's build some more command centers, and that's fantastic. Krakpot has expanded again, friends. He's on 3 base economy. I mean, all right. So he's just like, look, Thors, we don't care about you. Dude, this siege tank, though... This siege tank, though, is the absolute MVP of ever. Okay, it's dead. 38 kill siege tank before it died. BIGFaH finally realized, wait, that's 1 siege tank? That was what was holding me back? Ridiculous. Yes, yes, it is kind of ridiculous, friend. Okay, well, that's going to be it for Krakpot's natural base. The question is he going to be able to hold on to his main? He does have a siege tank on the high ground, which is nice. But, oh, it can be targeted from the low ground, so it's dead. Another siege tank shows up on the high ground, firing. BIGFaH's like, I don't know about attacking up ramps where Terrans are up there. You're not wrong about that, man. You know how poorly that generally goes for Zerg players that try that, so you should probably not make that attempt. These tanks, though, bring them up. Oh, is that another move command Thor? They just rallied? No. Rallied outside. This is a weird TVT. I gotta say I like it a lot. But yeah, BIGFaH brought all of these tanks up and put them right here. That would be massive. That'd be so good for him. That said, Liberator is annoying. It's going for advanced ballistics, but not there yet, so it can't exactly set the circles up way out here yet. I mean, this is a good number of tanks, but seriously, you have so many other tanks just hanging out down here. Come on, BIGFaH. APM check, 95 to 90, oh, exactly 96 to 96 average at the moment. But currently, like, spiking to the 200s for Krakpot. BIGFaH spiking around 150. It's just spikes, though. We're averaging about 100 even here for these two Terran players. The Thor counterattack, slowest counterattack of all time in space. All right, well, Ow. 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 I mean, sure. 2 tanks for 3 Thors. Not a great trade. Actually, a legitimately horrific trade. Oh, you thought you were in position there. You were not. Yeah, I gotta say, either player could have already won this game if they were aware of the expansions that the other guy had. BIGFaH totally... Oh, he has scanned here now. Okay, so he knows about these. Doesn't know about this one, though. Where the SCVs are not working at all because they're lazy. Alright, so he's decided it's time to go for it. And this is nice. This feels like a cleanup style of an attack here. He has no medevacs with this army, which is a problem. Like, maybe borrowing a couple of these medevacs over here to this group would be nice. Whee! Hellion corpses flying all over the place. Krakpot still doesn't know about this one.
Not that enemy destroy our house.
Or this one. And Krakpot decides to GG out. BIGFaH made it up the ramp. He's like, how did my opponent do this with only 3 bases? He never scanned it. He never scouted it. He never knew that BIGFaH has had these bases for so much time. Intel, that is the lesson of today's cast. Know where your opponent is, know what they're doing, and you're going to have a better time of it. It's just, yeah. I mean, I think what it came down to here, I really got to say, 33 Thors died for Krakpot, by the way. 41,000 to 18,000 resources lost is crazy. Krakpot lost so much stuff. But yeah, when he was here with this big army, send like 4 units down here, kill this, and then maybe send like a couple units up here and kill this. And then suddenly BIGFaH is mined out, and he's in a bunch of trouble. But instead, he commanded his army into an entrenched Terran position with siege tanks, marines, and marauders, lost everything. Then the counterattack just kind of came over and never left. And that was it, man. Like, sure, he probably could have kept going if he had kept producing off of these factories and this factory, but he's just had it all wrong. Thors were not going to be the answer to the marines and the marauders. And that's why he died. So let that be a lesson to you. All right. Well, fun stuff. Really fun stuff today. And you know what? That's going to be it from me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void and a MidRank Madness. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.